Hi everyone, I'm Joyce Strong, host of the Totally Well Show. Before we begin, I want to give a big thank you to my mentor, coach, and sponsor of the Totally Well Show, David Meltzer. David is the host of the #1 entrepreneur podcast, The Playbook, a top 100 business coach, author of the #1 new release, Game Time Decision Making, and was named Sports Humanitarian of the Year by Variety. But he prefers to be known as the CEO who goes around helping people. Learn more about David Meltzer at www.dmeltzer.com and text him at 949-298-2905 to get notified when he is in your area hosting a meetup. Follow him on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter at David Meltzer. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Totally Well Show. Hello everyone, welcome to the Totally Well Show. I'm your host, Joyce Strong. The Totally Well Show is a place where we get curious, ask questions, and explore everything to do with health, wellness, fitness, and all the things it takes to help you live the highest quality, most fulfilling life. I want to welcome you and invite you to be a sponsor for the Totally Well Show in any of the shows here at the Groton Channel. You can find out more about sponsorship by going to www.thegrotonchannel.org and learn about how becoming a sponsor can help benefit you and your business, local or national. Brands are welcome to join us or reach out to me. So today I have a repeat guest, Kevin Palmieri. Welcome.
Thank you again. Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm, and you're a charm.
Thank you.
Yes. And Kevin is from the Hyperconscious podcast. Say it for me and then I'll say it.
The Hyperconscious podcast.
The Hyperconscious podcast. And because Kevin does this all the time, he really can get into it. And Kevin also has a Hyperconscious Nation on Facebook.
Yes.
So you can reach out to him there. Join that group. It's a private group. Request to join. We really want people who are into this kind of thing. So don't just join another group because you think it's a good idea. But if you really want improvement and lots of exclusive content, that's a great place to go. On social media, you'll find Kevin as the Never Quit Kid. And there it is. So, and we got to do one of these too. There you go. I've been working on it.
I can see that.
Yeah. So welcome again. And
thank you so much.
I have so many more. We never run out of stuff to talk about.
Well, let's get right into it.
So one of the things we had talked about many times, and when you came to be a speaker for us at Confident Women Consortium, was habits.
Yes.
And both you and Alan talked about these things, but the development of habits. So I wanted to really dive a little deeper into that because when I hear it thrown around a lot, creating a healthy habit or breaking a bad habit, and there's a science to it, I think.
So I think that I don't go much into the science of it because for me I think people need to see the result. So when people see, again, we're flexing on the camera, right? They see the result of all the time I've put into the gym, but what they don't see is I'm up at 4:30 in the morning foam rolling. That's a habit. That's a habit that's built into my life. I have my water bottle down here, my 32-ounce water bottle. That's a habit. It's a habit for me to drink at least 100 ounces of water a day. It's just a habit. It's a habit for me to do mobility and stretch. And everybody sees the polished product, the shiny product, the final product, but what they don't see is how you've made that. And I think that's why just pulling back the curtain and telling people how important the habits are. The biggest difference between you, if you're watching this, the biggest difference between you and the person you want to be is your habits. 100%. And we all practice habits, but a lot of them are bad habits. We don't have, the best habits going on. If you smoke, you know you have a bad habit. How do you know something is a bad habit? It gets you further away from your goals. It gets you further away from the best version of yourself. And I think we all have bad habits. But can you outweigh your bad habits with good? Can you take your bad habits and make them better? That's really the question at the end of the day.
So I think I know from talking with you before that you've been working out for a long time. This isn't something that, like with Alan, it was a newer thing, right? And with you, you've always been in the gym.
Yes.
As long as you can remember. When did you start to train?
I started lifting weights when I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those habits were formed long ago. I mean, you're 30 now,
Yeah,
right?
some
You
of the
said your
habits
birthday.
were. So I
Yeah.
think that's the beautiful thing is, as with anything, you're going to evolve and you're going to learn more. So
Yeah.
like I might, as I say, like I've been working out for 14 years. I've been working out correctly for probably 5
Okay.
with the knowledge that I have now. Like
Yeah.
foam rolling is such a huge, important part of fitness and keeping your body right. I've only been doing it for 2 years. Now that's on me.
Yeah.
That means I have a lot more to learn, and that has time to catch up, right? So that's just a newer habit. I might have been putting in the physical exercise for a long time, but was I doing the things that go along with that really help that and boost that?
So just for our listeners' sake, I think foam rolling has to do more with helping your body recover.
Yeah. It's myofascial release, basically. So if you have like a knot, it's very similar to what happens when you get a massage. When you get a
Yeah.
massage, they're putting pressure on certain things. So I do it before my workouts to loosen up.
Yeah.
And then after like a heavy leg day, I'll do it the next day just to break up, the tissue so I don't like get super, super sore.
Yeah.
But it's one of the most underutilized things. It hurts.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable, so most people don't like to do it.
And it looks really weird.
It does look very weird. It does look very weird. But again, a lot of the habits we do are strange.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what you do every day becomes normal. And that's why if you're foam rolling every day, like I am, it's normal to you. It's just I wake up and I foam roll. I'm like a dog. I go do it.
Yeah.
It's just a habit.
One of the reasons I think I'm a better hockey coach than a lot of people, I started when I was 20 years older than you are now. So I was 50, right? But I think I'm a better coach than a lot of people who played in high school and college, because I remember the very little steps I had to do to get there. They're very fresh to me now. And I'm wondering if you could travel back in time in your mind and think of when you were first going to the gym and everything was fresh and new. If you can remember or tell us like some of the starting points for where you began the habits there for the things that you're so much
Back then it
moved
was
in.
just about looking good.
Yeah.
And when you're 16, I was a smaller kid. Like I'm 5'6". So in high school, I always felt smaller than everybody else.
I think your mother posted pictures of you.
Oh, she definitely did. She definitely did. She loves to do that on my birthday. I appreciate it.
You had pretty skinny little arms.
I was just a little dude.
Yeah.
So I always tell people I can't grow up.
Yeah.
Like, taller, but I've always been able to shape my body the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
For me, it just started as a goal. It started as an intention, a desire. I wanted to be in shape. I wanted to have muscles. I wanted to look big.
So you had a lot of motivation or purpose behind it.
Yeah, but so I think one of the earliest steps to anything is surrounding yourself with people who do the same thing.
Okay.
Even when I was 16, my best friends were in shape.
Yeah.
And they were working out. We'd work out together. I truly believe, you could look at it, I guess, 2 ways. I truly believe that's why I hang out with the people I do today. Mm-hmm. But I also believe that that's why my friends are in such good shape, because we motivate each other.
Yeah.
And it's, again, when Alan and I got to Florida for traveling, we went to the gym. Mm-hmm. When I went to Toronto, we went to the gym. When I went to England with my friend, we went to the gym. Like it's part of my life. It's a habit. Mm-hmm. It's a habit. Just like, again, some people have the habit every Friday night to go out drinking, right? If you're in college and that's one of your habits, no judgment on you, but that's a habit. Mm-hmm. You could easily replace that with something else, a different habit, a better habit.
Yeah.
So I think.
So these are not optional. This is like brushing your teeth. It's like the must-haves.
Yeah,
in the
wherever
day.
I am, and I take days off.
Yeah.
Of course, I miss days. I think that's normal. It doesn't mean it's not a habit. It means
You don't take weeks off.
No.
Yeah.
That's one thing I say is like, we're in a culture now that it's a 21-day fix. It's a 30-day program. Like, get all the results in 30 days. And I don't mean to ruffle any feathers when I say this, but you're not going to get rid of 30 years of bad habits in 30 days. It won't happen. Mm-hmm. I know that. Mm-hmm. I know that.
Yeah.
So I say, when your wedding comes up, you're so focused on working out for the 20 days prior, I take 21 days off throughout the year, more than that.
Yeah.
But I'm putting in the work the rest of the time. I could take 21 days off straight and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I think that's the disconnect is we find out, we want the results without the habits.
Yeah.
But it's what's motivating us to get that result. When you have a wedding that's 2 months away and you realize, oh no, I don't think I'm going to look good in my dress. You didn't do any of the habits prior, so you don't have them built in. So now you have to do a crash diet, or you have to do something extreme that doesn't work. And I think that's the problem. When you have the habits built in, you kind of know why you're doing it. You need the habits long before you have the result.
Yeah.
You know, if you're really good at saving money, and you make $10 million, you'll never have to work another day in your life. If you're really bad at saving money and you make $10 million, you will go broke. You can't be a millionaire without a millionaire mindset. What does that mean? That means having the habits of a millionaire. And that's why lottery winners always end up poorer than they were. Not always, but more often than not.
And many entrepreneurs too.
Yeah.
Again, with Dave Meltzer, he tells his story of how he was so young and made all this money and kind of was in the right place at the right time, and then lost it.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't grown up yet. He hadn't really matured.
Habits are everything.
Yeah. I'm looking to figure out a way to like build that common thread, no matter what it is we're doing, that, you know, how to develop those habits. When I talk about the science of habits, I'm thinking of James Clear in Atomic Habits and how he breaks it down to, I forget all the steps, but for one thing, it has to be easy to start with.
Yeah.
So it has to be, you know, it has to be doable. And I see a lot of my clients, and I'm sure with yours you'll see it too, that the goal is just so high. I want to look like Kevin next week, and it's just not going to happen. Or even if you can crash diet your way into the wedding dress, it's not going to last because you didn't build the habits. But what I'm saying is the method of building habits, and so how do we do that with becoming a public speaker? Like one of the things you're working on now, that you've become a public speaker, but that's not enough because you want to get better and better and more effective and help more people. So you just want to keep growing at your trade, at your skills, at the podcast. So and finding that sort of entry point to where do I start? People don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
So that's when I bring up hockey skating and teaching people to skate. I'll look at them and I'll say, are they bending their knees? And I do the very simplest rudimentary drills compared to some college kid who's teaching. And he's like, here, watch this. And I'm like, I have no idea what he just did. I'll never be able to do that. So it's overwhelming, whereas, you know, when I'm disarming because I make it so simple, I just want you to bend your knees. I want to show you how to fall forward so you don't get contre coup when you land on the back of your head. So that's what I'm looking for, some threads to see, you know, where, like, what's something hard for you now that you're trying to create a habit?
Oh, wow. What's something hard for me now that I'm trying to create? Okay.
Because it's hard for you to look back, like you definitely want to look good for the girls back when you were 16. So that was like probably easier because you wanted it so bad. You are growing to be the what do you call it? How do you say with your podcast? The best podcaster in the world, or how do you put it?
Oh, I want to be the best. Yeah, I want to be the best podcaster in the world.
Okay.
Hands down.
Yeah.
But not just for me. It's to prove to the listeners that they can have whatever life they're willing to work for.
Yeah.
Like that's because I want to prove to them that I want this and I'm going to go do it, and that means you can do the same. So
would that be a good example to ask in this on what are the habits that you're?
Yeah, I think a good one is so I'm in a new relationship, a newer relationship, like 4 months. But her and I dated back in the day, so we know each other very well. We're very familiar with one another.
Yeah.
But so much has changed since we knew each other before. I wasn't a podcaster. I wasn't hyper-conscious. I wasn't the man I am today.
Yeah.
And when I'm traveling and I get back, I tend to be in an unresourceful state because I'm so tired from traveling and I just want to be. I'm trying to make it a habit to communicate with her better how I'm feeling, especially after a long, stressful week where it looks like I'm on vacation. I'm not on vacation. I'm never on vacation. Even when I'm in a vacation spot, I'm working usually harder than when I'm at home.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I'm there. Now, do I take vacations occasionally? Sure. When I do, I won't bring my laptop because I'm not trying to work. But when I get home, I need to. It's not even I want to. If this relationship is to succeed, I need to make it a habit to check all that stress at the door and say, this is how I'm feeling. I'm in an overwhelmed state. I'm not in a peak state right now. So I either need a minute. We actually talked about this last night. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I either need a minute or maybe ask me how I'm feeling, because the answers I'm going to give you are only a reflection of how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
If I'm not feeling 100%, I can't give you a great answer.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a shorter answer, maybe with more attitude, maybe because I'm stressed out, but I don't ever want to. I guess the habit I'm trying to make sure I create is never taking out my stress on my beautiful, awesome girlfriend. And that's practice.
Yeah.
And that requires failing. I failed last night.
Yeah.
It requires failure.
Can you tell us how you failed?
Yeah, sure. So
this could be two things come to mind. One could be the nonviolent communication, and the other could be just with like Brene Brown. You made me think of the story I tell myself, like your message, because it's both of you. It's not just you.
Yeah.
How she might misinterpret the truth.
So, as I said, Alan and I were in Florida, scoping out the event that we're going to be, or the venue that we're going to be speaking at on September 7th. We had to book our tickets. We didn't book our flights yet because there's so much going on. We just went down there. My next logical step is not to book another flight in a month. So I booked my flight with Alan, and I didn't tell Taryn about it, even though she wants to come on the same day.
Yeah.
So when we got home, she said, when are you flying? Did you book your flights? And I said, yeah, I booked my flights. And she said, you didn't even ask me. And I was, in the moment, I really wanted to say, do you even understand what my week was like? You have no clue what I'm going through right now. But I had to take a step back and say, I dropped the ball. I did. I dropped the ball. I should have asked you when you were booking your flight, and I should have done it at the same time as you. I'm just so used to traveling with Alan, it wasn't even a thought. I've traveled with Alan everywhere over the past 2.5 years, and nobody else, just me and Alan.
Yeah.
So this is new to me.
Yeah.
So I think communication is the most important thing.
So what happened next? She looked at the pieces and made a story for herself, because that's what we have to do. So what was the story she told herself?
I don't really know, because she de-escalated it so quickly. She's such an awesome communicator. She's such an awesome communicator, and she's really good at that. But I basically took full ownership, and she said, yeah, I'm a little bit angry about it, but I understand. I understand what happened, and I know it wasn't my intention to like leave you behind.
Yeah.
It just slipped my mind because it was 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I couldn't text you. However many miles away in a hotel room.
Yeah.
I hadn't slept in 2 days, so it just slipped my mind. And I dropped the ball. I understand that, and I'm going to take credit and ownership. But I also appreciate the fact that you're supporting me in understanding that it wasn't my goal. It wasn't my goal to hurt you.
Yeah.
So it was just de-escalating, basically.
Yeah, she did a good job at hearing you
Yeah.
and understanding.
But that wouldn't have happened if my next logical step was, do you even understand what I'm going through right now? You have no clue what I'm going. Then that makes everything far worse. That's like pouring gasoline on it.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, but that's another habit. I want to have the most successful relationship possible. I don't want a regular relationship. It has to be extraordinary. I want it that way. What does that take? Extraordinary habits.
Yeah.
I won't get it any other way.
So the nonviolent communication approach to it would be, and that's Marshall Rosenberg's work, right? We've talked about that before. So that immediate, the thing you didn't say that you held back, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that, that was awesome.
I appreciate that.
Would have been a judgment. Basically, do you understand is really
Right.
a backhanded way of saying you don't understand,
Right.
you're stupid, or something. It would definitely take it, pour gasoline on it. So that's definitely not the right way to say it. But you could make an observation. You could walk in and be like, I'm surprised and a little confused, or you look angry. And maybe you didn't quite understand her response yet, and you needed to get more information from her. You could ask then for. So you make just an observation. That's step one. You could ask for more information. Are you upset with me? Find out, and she then could say. So the observation is step one, not a judgment. So like I said, congrats on not making a judgment. A judgment isn't, I'm disappointed, because I'm just saying, you disappointed me.
Yeah,
a
right.
judgment is, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm confused, I'm surprised. It's a feeling. And that's the second step, because I feel whatever you feel. And then you think about what you need, and you make a request. So in this case, you might even say, I'm scared because I really need you to know how much I love you and want you to come on this trip with me. So you could express your genuine need, and and you could even explain then, these are the things that happened, and now I can see that, I'm just so much in my old habit that I haven't really adapted to this, or whatever, there's what you said, however you said it. And would you be willing? And then you make a request, because you can't tell anybody what to do.
Right.
So that's the whole kind of training wheels of the nonviolent communication.
It's hard. It's hard to do it in the moment.
Yeah.
Because you have to think the only reason most people create extraordinary habits is because they want an extraordinary result.
Yeah.
If I didn't want the best relationship possible, I wouldn't be able to be as vulnerable. I wouldn't have the why power.
Yeah.
But I have to.
Yeah.
And I also coach people in relationships. And I talk about my relationship openly all the time. I don't want to ever have to lie about it. So that means, I want to have the best one. I want to treat her like a queen. I want her to feel unbelievably happy and fulfilled all the time. And it's a habit.
And I love that you see it that way, that your willingness to be vulnerable and to have actually expect them. They're going to happen.
Yeah,
You're
for
human,
sure.
she's human, she's going to have her times too. And that you're willing to go in and struggle with it because it is new, but recognize then, to me, I guess it's like an opportunity for greater intimacy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. We're more connected after. That's one of her things is I appreciate you being vulnerable.
Yeah.
So if you're a man watching this, being vulnerable does not make you weak. It doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you more of a man.
Yeah.
Because it's rare.
Well, that's when I first met you, one of the things, both you and Alan, that I was so drawn to is how at your age, just 30-year-old guys being so hyper-conscious, so self-aware, and so vulnerable, and not only vulnerable, but wanting to be more vulnerable. And I'm seeing these muscles, and I'm like, these two things that, I don't usually see them together. So I
That's
really
just the result.
love that about you.
I appreciate that. That's a result of wanting something extraordinary. That's all it is.
And you've been a student of it. You've been seeking it out.
I want to be, I don't, so I was listening to a book by John Maxwell. There's two ways to look at things, either goal setting or growth setting. So a goal mindset versus a growth mindset. Mm-hmm. A goal, if you're a goal setter, you're looking for a result on the goal. You're thinking, how long will it take me to get this? If you're growth driven, you're looking and thinking, what can I make of this? How far can I push this? Mm-hmm. I don't want to just get to a certain point. I want to be the best humanly possible at that. And I think that's reverse engineer what that'll take. Like you asked earlier, what are the initial steps? Mm-hmm. What will it take for you to get that? With my clients, we literally create, and I adopted this from Alan, we create anywhere from 3 to 5 things that they do every single day. So 3 in health, 3 in wealth, 3 in love, okay? If it's health, you're weight training, you're sending me your calories, and you're weighing yourself every day, okay? If you do those 3 things, I guarantee I can help you lose weight. Boom. That's reverse engineering weight loss. Then when maybe relationships is a different one, maybe wealth is tracking your finances, reaching out to prospects. You first, in order to reverse engineer and build habits, you have to know the result you're looking for. For me, it's an extraordinary relationship. What do I have to do? Okay, do that. What do I have to do every day? Okay, all right, now we do that.
It's like creating a vision.
Yeah.
That really having a very clear vision, and I love that term, reverse engineering. So to that and creating that first step.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure we have enough time today to talk about something else we were talking in the preamble about, which is confidence. So we talked a little bit about habits and the confidence, the drive to 5, and self-esteem. Those kinds of those things kind of tie together. We don't have a ton of time. We have about 6 or 7 minutes left.
Okay.
So.
Do you want me to jump into the drive to 5?
You can quickly maybe describe drive to 5, but then I want you to bring in compare and contrast those 2 words, confidence and self-esteem.
All right, let's see what we can do. All right, so the drive to 5 is something that Alan and I created basically for our podcast listeners. So think of it this way. It is a scale. On the left is the number 0. On the right is the number 10. In the middle is 5. 0 is somebody who has very low self-esteem. They do not take action because they're afraid of failure. They're afraid to get mentors. They're afraid to get rejected. They're afraid to look bad. and they're usually somewhat pessimistic because they assume everything goes wrong. So that's a 0. On the polar opposite, you're looking at a 10. This is somebody who might be super arrogant. They don't think they need a coach because they think they know everything. They don't take action because they wait for something to be perfect, and there's no such thing, right? And they're usually overly optimistic because they assume everything is going to go amazing. In the middle, the 5, that's basically somebody who is confident yet humble. That's somebody who understands they don't know everything, but they can figure it out. That's a huge thing. Knowing that you don't know everything is a huge thing for everybody, right? So basically, if you're a 0 or a 10, you require action. No matter where you are when it comes to confidence or self-esteem, you require action. If you lack confidence, you require action to build proof. If you have too much confidence, some would say arrogance, you require action to build humility. Both of those will drive you closer to the 5. The reason we call it the drive to 5 is because I started at a 0, Alan started at a 10. Since working together, we have both driven closer to 5. Because I show him how to be humble, he shows me how to be confident.
So here's where I want to throw a twist.
Sure.
In some cases, when you describe that, you use the word self-esteem, and in some cases you word
Valid.
almost like they were interchangeable, and I don't think they are.
So self-esteem to me is basically an overall look of yourself, your self-worth, and your self-value. And then confidence, I think confidence most of the time is situational. Like I was telling you in the preamble, I'm far more confident now at the airport because I've been there far more often. Now I can go by myself and it's fine. It's just another thing.
So being able to go to fly and deal with all the travel arrangements, which I relate completely to that because I'm the same way, is more of an experience thing that you have to become competent and know the ropes, know that everything's going to be okay and where you stand for that and where you get that. But it had nothing to do with your value as a person.
No. Your self-esteem, I think your self-esteem is the story you're telling yourself. It's your identity. It's how you identify. It's, I don't do these things because I'm this. Or I've never succeeded at this because I'm this. That goes into your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-value, how you value yourself.
So when you look at the drive to 5, and we're only talking about self-esteem, when you started, where were you?
0.
And where are you now?
Self-esteem wise, I like to think I'm probably at like a 4.
Okay.
I'm not a 5, I know that.
Why?
I'm not where I need to be yet.
So you're still building your
Of course.
self-esteem.
Yeah.
When you first started out on the drive to 5, just speaking of confidence.
So I think this is where it gets interesting because it depends on the arena. If you said, where did you start out in the gym? 5.
You started, okay.
I've been a 5 for a long time at the gym because I've put my 10,000 hours in.
I like arena too.
The arena matters.
Okay.
With self-esteem, it's more an overview of who you are and how you feel about yourself, where confidence...
You take that baggage with you everywhere.
Yeah. But confidence at the gym, my self-esteem is the highest it can be because I'm very proud of my body.
Yeah.
Where public speaking, my confidence started at a 0. Where
are you now on public speaking?
Oh man, probably a 4.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. It's interesting. But again, I've done 200 podcasts. I've been interviewed on podcasts. I've been interviewed here 3 times. I've given 1 speech. I don't know if you know about that, but kind of a big deal. But it's just practice.
Yeah.
It's practice. The things you're not confident in are the things you're probably not experienced in.
Now, on the drive to 5, can you be a 10 on confidence, but something lower on self-esteem?
I would say it depends. I think confidence always depends on the arena.
Okay.
It depends on what your arena you're in. If you're in an arena that you've practiced very often, say going to the bar and getting drunk, you might be a 10 on the confidence. But you might feel very bad about yourself. It depends on the arena.
I think sometimes to me, sometimes that arrogant end at the 10 can be a self-defense mechanism to protect against a little fractured, just strong ego.
Yeah.
Again, when Dave talks about his arrogance and the way he used to be versus how he is now, and even he often says he needs to keep being aware because that part of him still lives inside of him. And so how how he has to be aware and that was a model he got from his dad
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So he has to always be aware of that piece, and it's probably covering up some hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and people that practice overarching humility, where it's the point of like self-deprecation. I know we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
That's a cover-up too.
Yeah.
It's because you don't feel good enough. So it's easy to be humble when you don't feel good enough.
Yeah.
So as you work, that's why the Drive to 5. Alan and I use this when we meet somebody.
Yeah.
We ask ourselves when we leave the room, where are they on the Drive to 5? Because I know how to help you if I know where you are.
Yeah.
Most of our listeners are low.
I would love to see it get more specific.
It's
the
a
Drive
work in
to
progress.
5. Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, I'd love to see it get detailed in this arena, because I think it's such a great tool.
Yeah.
And guess what?
It's time.
It's time. I know it
It goes by so quick.
We'll do it again. We'll do it
I
again.
love it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how the. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go to Florida to see you speak. By the time this airs, it will already have happened.
Right.
But good luck with that.
I appreciate it. I'm going to have to put a camper out back, so when you call me, I can just show up. Make it easy.
We'll set up a studio. This will be our away from home studio
I love
here.
it. I appreciate you very much.
I appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Always.
Yeah.